Hey guys, Desolate Magic here. It's time to jump into the spoilers for Foundations, and this is absolutely not what it appears. They said this would just be like a core set. They're replacing core sets with this. This will just be low-powered, generic staples like discard and kill spells and counter spells and just blah whatever to get it out of the way of other sets, so they're not like, oh, we have to put another counter spell in, another kill spell, and another discard, otherwise draft won't really work. Also, it was supposed to be low-powered and understandable so that new people coming into the game would play it. Now, keep that in mind while we look at these spoilers. Oh, and everything you see here today, just do not forget, it is legal until 2029. This set does not rotate. So first up, we got Kaito, Cunning Infiltrator, and I should mention I'm purposely skipping reprints with a couple exceptions. It's a 3-cost double blue instead of also black. I don't know why they don't standardize that. 3 loyalty, Planeswalker, and when a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a loyalty counter on Kaito. Oh my gosh. And then +1 up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. Draw a card, then discard a card, because of course. -2, create a 2/1 blue ninja creature token with nothing special. And then -9, you get an emblem with whenever a player casts a spell, you create a 2/1 blue ninja creature token. See, that's just like, okay, it's a Planeswalker, it's a utility card, it's interesting, sure, let it be legal until, almost 10 years from now. Then we got Tiny Bones, 2-cost 1/3 legendary creature skeleton rogue. This is not a reprint. The first one was actually called something comically identical, but not this. Whenever an opponent discards a card, exile it from the graveyard with a stash counter on it. During your turn, you may play cards you don't own with stash counters on them from exile, and mana to pay for it is considered any type. Then if you pay for and tap them, each opponent discards a card. Does that seem a little annoying and OP? Where now discard is bad enough, now you get rewarded for discard? I don't think there will be a black deck for the next 5 years that won't contain this. This is absolutely outrageous. Way too powerful. But let's throw in a classic. This is a reprint. Time Stop. End the turn. 6-cost double blue instant. The turn is over. Exile all spells that are on the stack. Abilities, goodbye. This spell goes to exile so that you can't recur it or clone it. Discard down to max hand size, damage heals, it is over. Classic card, see, that's what they need right there. It's not game warping, it's not like, oh, everybody has to run it, it's just, hey, you might need this. But they couldn't keep their greed in check with some of these. Trust me, you have seen nothing yet. Twin Flame Tyrant, it's a 5-cost, double red 3/5 with flying. Creature Dragon, and if a source you control would deal damage to an opponent or permanent an opponent controls, it deals double, but it costs 5 and it's only a 3/5 with flying. That does nothing else in a color that usually rushes and doesn't necessarily ramp. Although treasures. Not so much anymore, that crap rotated out, but like, yeah, they're kind of warping the color pie, so this is just like, yeah, double damage for 5, the game should probably be over if you can drop in a 5, so sure. They wanted fast games. I don't entirely disagree, but I feel like turn 2, my turn 1, might be a little early. So then we got Bloodthirsty Conqueror. It's a 5-cost double black 5/5 creature vampire knight flying death touch, and whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. It's kind of like granting everything lifelink a little bit. It's similar. Then we got Niv Mizzet Visionary, a brand new Niv Mizzet. I wonder what they did different this time. Oh, they made him cost 6. So, barely playable, but welcome to the set. 5/5 legendary creature, dragon wizard. Flying, you have no max hand size, just classic effect. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you draw that many cards. Oh my. But, oh my, accompanied by costing 6 and having no protection, no ward, no hexproof. Guess who's back? Progenitus. 2/2/2/2/2, one of every color, 10-cost 10/10, legendary creature, Hydra avatar, protection from everything. You can still kill him with like a 2-cost sack spell, so protection from everything, people misinterpret that all the time. I'm not going to break it down, it could be its entire video, but this is pretty funny. So if he would be put into the graveyard from anywhere, reveal him, and then shuffle him right back into its owner's library. The soul of the world has returned. I'll be honest with you, I don't remember which world. My guess would be Dominaria, but yeah, I don't know. Next up, we got Arabo the First Fang, who was a cute little kitten in the last card. He was adorable. I don't know what the hell they did here. So he's a 3-cost 2/2 legendary creature, cat avatar, nice. Other cats you control, get +1/+1, classic, should be legal till 2029, love it. And then whenever he or a non-token cat you control enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white cat creature token. So cat cloners, very specific, very interesting. Then we've got Zul Asher, Lich Lord, 2-cost 2/2 legendary creature, zombie warlock, ward, pay 2 life. Okay, and then you may tap him. You may cast target zombie creature card from your graveyard this turn. Okay, so nothing special. This little Lich Resurrector. All right, you still have to pay for the creature, so it's not free casting. Otherwise, turn 2 would be just over. This would be disaster. This is just classic black. These are such staples. Except for all the crap I'm about to show you. I gave you a little hint, just a little peek. This thing is going off the rails quicker than me playing Roller Coaster Tycoon when I was 11, cranking it up to 11, and then deleting part of the track. Crystal Barricade. It's a 2-cost 0/4 artifact wall with Defender. You have hexproof. Love it. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. Oh my gosh. So this is kind of like that, whatever stupid hexproof lady of Arabrook, except fair. I love it. This is great. That should be legal forever. Don't even rotate it. Next up, Archmage of Runes, or Archmage, depending upon how British you are. It's a 5-cost double blue 3/6 giant wizard. And instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, which clearly you don't need if you got them out for 5, but okay. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. Now we're talking. So not quite Storm, not quite playable and hyper-aggressive, but just like nice. I could see teaching somebody how to play the game with a lot of the cards I just mentioned, and that was the point. And everybody saw this and thought this is a great idea. And then WOTC saw it, or Chris Cox saw it, or Hasbro's board saw it, I don't know, and said, that's great what you got going there. Nobody's going to buy this though. So instead of those fossils or somebody at WOTC with half a brain saying, hey, you know what we should do? We should have a new format called Foundation Constructed, and it'll be for like new players at F&M. We'll have specific prize support for it. We'll have it all access for free on Arena, and that'll let people of all ages and all levels of Magic experience dip their toes back in it and get back up to like a functional level, and then they can proceed to Standard, which is pretty much modern at this point, and that's what Magic always was, at least going back to like 2010, I'd say. You would play Standard, then you move on to the bigger formats. Maybe 2012. I don't know. I started playing in 2013. I don't know. But instead of doing that, they're like, let's just put some OP crap in here that'll sell for $50 because, screw you. Seer Slicer Goblin is next. I know every card. You're like, is this the one? Oh, they're coming. Also, I haven't read most of these. 2-cost red 2/1. Goblin Warrior with Raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attacked this turn, just with anything ever, create a 1/1 red Goblin creature token. So just typical Goblin, aggressive Goblin tribal card. You can't get much more generic cookie cutter than this. Then we got Mossborn Hydra. I bet this is just a typical Hydra. How much you want to bet? Not vanilla, though. They literally could have just reprinted this as a brand new card. So 3-cost 0/0, not X. Oh, okay. But creature, Elemental Hydra, trample. This creature enters with a 1/1 counter on it, and then landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, double the number of 1/1 counters on this creature. Oh, you're so close to this being a fair card. Yes, you have all the time in the world to take this no ward, no hexproof thing and blow it straight to hell. Still a little high power for this set. They apparently didn't notice from Scoot Swarm and from, I don't know, Hero of Lena Tower. Like, I can't, like, how far are we going to go back? Doubling isn't good. Free casting isn't good. Leyline of Resonance. Aetherworks Marvel. Anything with the word Resurrector in it right now, and letting the game get too fast or having too many control spells, and anything that doubles ever. Those are fundamental limits that you should be wary of in the game at all times. Instead, you're just like, let's extend Standard a year and make people win on turn 2 because spell doubling, free casting, free leyline. That'll go well. Holy crap. Well, only 1/3 of your deck is lands, so this is actually a pretty tame card. You've got an eternity to get this thing working, unless they bring back Landfall Heavy, which I don't think they will. Like, Landfall in a space set, I don't know. Landfall in a race set, I don't see it. Landfall and Final Fantasy, don't know, never played the game, but what I do know is Helpful Hunter is cute as hell. So 2-cost white, 1/1, when this creature dies, draw a card. We have had 50 different iterations of this, and this is the cutest. Then we've got a Johnny's Pridemate, one of the biggest mistakes in the history of Magic. So it's a 2-cost 2/2. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. You will just win the game. This is literally Ender's Game deck personified, or as I like to call it, duck and cover, because it's almost always flying when I do it for some reason. You pick one card that is going to win the game, you make sure that you can go get it, drop it into play, and then you protect the hell out of it with counter spells, hexproof, flicker it, I don't care what you have to do, keep them from blowing it up and just keep ramming it down their throat until they've lost. Preferably in the air, because that is so much faster. This was the definition of that in a deck which their defense was block with my face and gain more life. I don't remember if Settle the Records was legal at the same time as this. I think they were just off by a little bit, but you can go so far off the rails with this card. People wanted this banned so badly a couple years ago, quite a few years ago. I completely agreed. I played the game. I got to Mythic with a deck running this card. This is a mistake. They should not have done this. They really should not have done this in a set that's legal till 2029 that's considered a staple. That's just stupid. Ideally, you want 0 bans coming from this set because that'll just confuse the new players who are already confused enough. Like, what do you mean? I built a whole deck around this. Is a fantastic card. Why can't I play it? Next up, we got Chandra, Flame Shaper. That isn't Chandra. That isn't her hair color. That's not her face shape. That is not her. 7 cost, 6 loyalty. Oh, this is going to be good. Legendary Planeswalker Chandra. +2, add 3 red mana to your mana pool. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Choose 1. You may play that card this turn. Yeah, you can do some damage with this, but good luck getting her out. Planeswalker is very, very difficult to free cast, if not impossible. +1, choose a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it has haste, and at the beginning of your end step, sack it. So your typical clone it and send it, but on a +1? Really? Then -4, she deals 8 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and her planeswalkers. So she's just supposed to be like God to your planeswalker, but good luck getting the 7. And if you do, you got to protect her and not have lost the game by then. So it's a trade-off. So yeah, she's overpowered, but she's 7. Like, come on. Still within the bounds of the set, unlike Phyrexian Arena, which is a disastrous mistake. Just ridiculous. Before this was reprinted in Standard, this card was so unbelievably expensive because it was so unbelievably broken. Then they dropped it in, and people barely even needed the damn card because with Liliana, a bunch of discard stuff, and then the shit bat, now you can just do whatever the hell you want because your opponent doesn't have a card and they can't even play their damn deck. So, yeah. 3-cost enchantment, non-legendary. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life, which is basically nothing if you're running white-black life gain. Like, for example, if you're running Pridemate. So, that deck archetype will never die. I think that's what they're going for, but I don't think they realize what level of fire they're dealing with. Next up, we're into the German section. Oh boy, I happen to be Alemanni myself. You either know the inside joke or you don't. So this is Angel of Licks. She comes and licks you until you forfeit. Trust me, I speak fluent Spanish. So it's a 4-cost 3/3 flying creature angel. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on her just in case you need a backup for your Ajani Pridemate, except in the air, which is the last thing we need right now. Also, there's a third Ajani's Pridemate that's legal right now. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on this creature, draw a card. This ability triggers only once per turn. This is basically 3 different cards that were completely out of control mixed together, but for 4 mana. If you're about to say, but it's the removal. Well, first of all, white can make anything hexproof now as an enchantment while also making her stronger and probably gaining life on the ETB. And second, shut up, that's not the point. That's never been the point. Stop encouraging people to play nothing but control, where the first 10 spells they cast are kill spells and then they try to do something backed up by Phyrexian Arena, which will also be an unstoppable deck. This is an absolute disgrace. Oh, and the flavor text says, if green not ruin asterisk throat clear asterisk pronounced of Frieden, whoever that is, Garfield has. Must be like a poem or something. Next up, we've got Ruf der Valkyrie, or Valkyrie's Call. The word call as in shout out call is just roof. German was invented by a dog. Hey, when you want to shout out or call out to someone, what should be? What should that word be? Roof. So was that Steve or was that the dog? You know what? It's a long language. We got a lot to get through. We're only on the R's. Roof. So it's a 5-cost white mythic. This gonna be good. Whenever a non-token, non-angel creature you control dies, return it to its owner's battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. It has flying and is an angel in addition to its other types. Automatic resurrecting in 1, pretty messed up. Not putting a cap on 2 or 3 CMC. Beyond screwing up. This is like amazing new levels of screwing up. This is stupidly overpowered. Compared this to anything that we've seen so far. This is ridiculous. Next up, we've got Etali, Der Earthsturm. Wait a minute, that looks familiar. Yeah, that's just Etali. People wanted Etali and every card just like it banned forever. So they decided to take that into consideration and print it until 2029. Well, screw that garbage. Next up, we got Slagstorm, a 3-cost red sorcery. And choose one. It deals 3 damage to each creature, or it deals 3 damage to each player. Yep. 3 for 3 sweeper sorcery. That's going to be legal. Well, kiss your onesie-twosie decks goodbye, because you just lost. Imagine that in red-white enchantment stack. That'll be fun. I guess they've already won on turn 3, so what's the point? But I don't know. Next up, Homunculus Horde. It's a 4-cost 2/2. In blue, but single blue. Keep that in mind. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a token that's a copy of this creature. I just threw it in because this is kind of fun. This is outrageous. It's Scoot Swarm, but you have to double draw. But then if you do, you could just like scry to go get a replacement or a counterspell to protect him, stop a board wipe. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 win, in case you haven't been tracking that, and that's being a little generous. Kinda messed up, not gonna lie. That's pretty stupid. Now, I did skip a bunch of staples that were in the common and uncommon slot. It's pretty much, if you could name it as a Magic staple, it's pretty much here. Like, they got Giant Growth, Shivan Dragon, Juggernaut, you know, stuff that have been in, like, the intro decks, stuff that have been, like, for free in the demo decks on, like, MTGO and MTG Arena. Sarah Angel, Savannah Lions, you know, a bunch of, like, old school stuff, so that's cool. But, wow, they really decided they want to sell this set, and they have basically sacrificed the entire format by making this sell. The greed involved in this disgrace will be the absolute downfall of them. This is just accelerating it. I think at this point, they just want an excuse to go look for a different job. This is just so stupid. And then on top of it, in case you're not familiar, there is the Jumpstart Foundations subset product. I don't know what to call it. It's got an enormous amount of cards in it. The set symbol is incredibly different, but it's still called Foundations. And so I think anybody who's new to the game, they're just like, oh, buy Foundations, you can play with that. Oh, but not that Foundations. Come on, really? They thought that was a good idea? But yeah, greed. All they wanted was greed. Now, Jumpstart is like drafting light edition, sealed light edition, but did it have to be this one? Couldn't they have just called it something else, like Jumpstart Core, Jumpstart Classics, or like just Jumpstart by itself, or like really anything other than what they did? This is unreal. Well, we've got more spoilers to go. I wanted to keep enough for tomorrow here. I'm not actually sure how big this set is, and apparently nobody is. I found actual differing accounts of it. My guess is it's above the normal 285, call me crazy. And they've actually been shifting the number of mythics and rares, like the ratio between the cards in the recent sets. But all I gotta say is wait till I see the Eldrazi. All I'm gonna say is First Strike Vigilance, Menace Trample, Reach Lifelink, Ward, pay 7. Oh, life, not like mana. Oh, that just fits right in a core set. It actually, for what it costs, it actually almost does. But they're going a little far with some of these, I think, is the point. I think you get that at this point in the spoilers. So thanks for watching, everybody. Holy crap. And I'll see you guys next time.